Well, welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video. I'm going to be doing an unboxing and a review, and I don't really want to. It's a little bit of a serious issue. I'm going to try and spin this into something sort of lighthearted and fun, but it does have me concerned. Do you remember about a year ago or so, I posted this video here about we had a new Wi-Fi router that we installed, and everything was fine until I went to bed that night, and then suddenly everything went crazy. And I discovered that I was getting radiation kind of feelings from our router. So replaced it, got the exact same router before. Click on the link if you wanted to see that video. But in a nutshell, I have found what I've been doing in the time since that video is I just turn off the router at night. Problem solved. I don't have any issues. I do notice there are places I'll go, like my wife's aunt. If we go there, we're in the guest room, which is where the Wi-Fi router is. She leaves it on all night, and I can feel stuff all over me. But I put up with it because it's only for a short time. Problem recently, somebody in our building now has routers like that too, very close. The neighbors have got some kind of new Wi-Fi router, and I'm getting the heebie-jeebies from it. So what do? I can't just go upstairs and next door over there and say, hey, can you guys just turn off your router at night so I can sleep? So yeah. Now I looked this thing up because I thought there is something, how can nobody, like I've asked my wife, I've asked other people, do you not feel that? And they're like, no, what are you talking about? So I have looked it up online. There is apparently this known electromagnetic frequency sensitivity some people have, like myself. And some people have got it really bad, and so that's very unfortunate. And as I kind of project forward, okay, what are you going to do? Because you can't just tell people in your building to turn off the routers at night. Am I going to have to move? What am I going to do about this? And then, okay, you move to some obscure little remote village. What's to stop the people who live in the next house getting the same router? We live in a world with Wi-Fi. I talked about it in my video response to Wee Bob. I can't live off the grid. I have way too many things that I just love that are connected, and Wi-Fi is just a fact of life. Now, what's weird, I get this recently, I've lived here for several years now. This sensation that I've just recently started having is very new, like in the last week or two. And at work, I'm surrounded by Wi-Fi all the time. In fact, I've asked the guys who install our Wi-Fi, what is the signal strength and frequency? Because I'm not getting, I don't go into the details, but something at home is not happening here at work. So what's the difference? And they're like, they give me the stats, and it's like, well, these are normal frequencies and normal power ratings. So I think what maybe it is, certain brands, certain models of Wi-Fi just set me off. And that's unfortunate. I don't know what the long term is going to be as far as my solution for that, but that is what this unboxing is all about. So let's maybe turn this into something a little more positive in nature. One thing I thought I would try, I was reading up, what do people have as solutions for this? And somebody suggested a grounding sheet lying over top of you might work. And as it so happens, years ago, my wife and I went to Washington, D.C., and we went to the Smithsonian, and of course, got to check out the Air and Space Museum part of it. And while we were there, we bought this, which is a space blanket. And let me just show you what this actually is. Here's a space blanket. It's like a giant candy wrapper. And I thought, okay, here's a really nice big piece of metal, and you may think I'm silly, but I had a clamp attached to one corner of this thing, and that was clamped to a metal lamp that was plugged into the wall. I thought, okay, that's grounded this thing, I guess. So let's see what it's like to sleep under. Didn't work very well. In fact, I think this may have acted as more of an attractor than a deflector. Also, certain logistics. Kudos to NASA. This thing does actually maintain heat. I mean, you wouldn't think so to look at it, but it does. The only problem is if you're sleeping at night and you've got this thing mostly over you, the heat of your body sometimes causes condensation or sweat to build up. And I'd wake up in the middle of the night, this thing was stuck to my face. I'd be like, all right, that's not going to work. So I looked up online, is there anything like that? Because these groups that talk about this electromagnetic frequency sensitivity, EMF, it's a known thing, and there are some products out there that people have designed for people like me. So I thought, I'm ordering one because I can't go long term. It's been fine for a few days, but I can't live with this week in and week out for months on end. So went online and I saw a listing for an EMF blanket, and I've ordered it. And I thought, okay, a friend of mine is in like network security, and he's got a little thing that he puts his credit card into that keeps EMF from reading if you're going past one of those like Wi-Fi readers, you can just swipe your card so that he doesn't get charged unnecessarily. He's got this thing sheathed in a little piece of this stuff. And unlike the space blanket, it's not a uniform piece of metal or tinfoil or whatever the heck that thing is made out of. It's actually interwoven multiple layers, like a cross-stitch pattern, a very, very, almost like knit metal sheet. And I went online and I ordered an EMF blanket that I think is made of the same stuff. It has arrived. I'm going to try it out and review it for you, and I'm really hoping this is a solution to my problem. If this one doesn't do it, I'm going to order another one until I find one that works. Thing that has me a little worried, it has arrived today. It was advertised as being a big blanket, 36 inches by 42. I thought, yeah, that's even roughly that size, or maybe not quite as big as that, but it's big. It has arrived. And this is it. So either they sent me the wrong thing, or much like the space blanket, when it folds up, it's very, very compact, I hope. Because the space blanket, as I say, it rolls up into a little box like this. So maybe this is very, very thin, shimmery material, I hope. So let's open it up, and I will review it tonight. No? Okay, yeah, this is the bag that I saw. The company is NASA Fez. Now, I don't think they're actually associated with NASA, but they got the NASA logo, which is kind of cool. There's something on the back here. EMF protection fabric. Yeah, 36 by 42. It even says so on the back, so this is the right size. Okay. What on earth is this? Let's open it up. Packet within a packet. Okay, it's not what I thought it would look like at all. Let's say it's got a grid pattern. Okay, it is actually very large. I take it back. I was worried this was going to be way too small. But there it is. Okay, it's not as big as that space blanket, but it is 36 by 42. What does that say down there? Oh, NASA Fix. Okay. So, there may be different ways to make this work. I think, again, I might have to ground it, like put one corner on the floor. But I will report back to you as to how successful the NASA Fez big sheet is. I must confess, I was kind of hoping, I'll show some close-ups here. I was kind of hoping this blanket would look like my buddy's little thing that he puts his credit cards into, because that almost looks a bit like, as I say, a woven type of metallic material, almost like chainmail. And I actually did a video a few years ago about sleeping in chainmail, and wouldn't it be ironic that once again I am sleeping in chainmail? Unfortunately, this is more of a grid Tron kind of a pattern, so not the case. But I will be sleeping under this tonight, and I will report back as to whether or not it works. If it doesn't work, I'm going to order another one, and if that doesn't work, I'm going to order another one. Let's see what we get. Okay, first impressions. This is the following morning. What I've done is on the bed, I've got that sheet right here. So basically, as I sleep, I tuck my legs underneath it there. Do I notice a difference? I kind of did initially. I sort of threw it over my shoulders and wandered around, and I wasn't too sure if I was imagining things or not. Sometimes I still got the heebie-jeebies, as I like to call them. But definitely noticed, lying in bed here under this thing, it did seem to be less creepy crawlies on my legs. So I think this thing works, but the other problem is I'm sleeping with what is basically like a garbage bag on my legs, so it's a different sensation. So I don't really know yet. Gonna give it a couple more nights. I will report back. And I think in order to limit the novelty of having this thing suddenly over my legs, what I might do is actually slip it inside the quilt cover. You can see we can unhook that there. Maybe put it inside the quilt cover, just under, like, move this into this area here so that it's in the quilt and I can drape it over my legs, but it's not actually on my legs, if that makes sense. Anyway, as I say, we'll soon see. Okay, it's been a couple of days. I've given this a good solid test run now. What are my conclusions? Well, ironically, inconclusive. I don't know. I kind of feel a little bit of protection, but here's me thinking, oh, it's going to be like a force field and I'll be impenetrable from the electromagnetic radiation feeling. That's not really true. Like, when I first got it, I kind of wandered around the house and I was shrouded in mystery, kind of like, you know, Mother Teresa or whatever. And I was just like, yeah, okay, can I feel it still? And you know what? I can, but this is probably not the best way to test this. So, as per the morning after video, shoved this inside the duvet cover, and it felt a little better. I was certainly able to sleep very well. But I don't know that it really, like, I didn't get the feeling down in my extremities. It seems to be my extremities really feel it more, and in my head. So this morning, I thought I would, like, rotate the sheet and over my head to see if I felt any protective kind of a sensation from this, or lack of sensation. And there was, like, it was a little better. I was like, yeah, okay, it's working, but not 100%. So I have a feeling I need to do, I'm going to get another blanket. Now, this was only 25 bucks, so certainly, like, as a one-off try, that's no problem. Also, probably can't really show it very well, but it does get a little, like, there's little threads here. This is just some hunk of material that's been cut to this size. It's not like a proper sheet or blanket or whatever. I guess they were thinking, oh, people are going to cut this up and wrap it around their iPads or whatever. So, it's not stellar. And also, I noticed this morning when I opened this up to open up the duvet cover to pull this back out, it was kind of all a little bit, you know, bunched down at the bottom. So again, it's okay, and I think it helps. It certainly helps enough. Okay, here's my plan. This one, I'm going to get another one, a more expensive, proper, and make sure the size is bigger, blanket with like a hem around it and stuff. And preferably that one that's that kind of chainmail-y type material. I got this shipped priority because I was just like, I can't take a night with this stuff, so I need this to come immediately. So although it was only 25 bucks, it was a fair amount of money to get it shipped priority. I'm going to order a proper one that is more expensive, or a bigger one that is more expensive, try a different brand out. And I'm not going to worry about that getting shipped priority because this works enough, I think. And I'm going to test that right now. this one and the next one that I get, I'm going to see, do they pass the twinkle, twinkle little star test? What the heck is that, you were asking? Well, I've got my iPod Touch here, and I've fired up a video on YouTube of somebody singing Twinkle, Twinkle Little Star. I figure that's public domain. I won't get a copyright strike if I have that playing. Let's wrap this in this blanket while the video is playing, and theoretically, as the signal gets cut off, because this thing is blocking all Wi-Fi, they claim, the song should stop. Let's give this a test. So let's fire it up. And a little, it's got a little animation to it and stuff. If it'll do, you know, little animated characters, got an owl doing this thing. Here comes the song. And I'm going to wrap it up in this. It's well ensconced in this stuff, and clearly the signal's still going through. So, it doesn't block Wi-Fi. Now, maybe I have to put a corner on the ground. I don't think so. Let's just very briefly pull it back out here and see if I can find, where's the one? Okay, there it is. Okay, so it's still relatively covered, and I'm going to put a corner of it on the ground. No difference. Okay, so it doesn't block Wi-Fi. Alright. Stop that now. Okay, yeah, so there is the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star test. It does not pass, so I don't think this thing is actually blocking anything. So, gonna get another one that's more expensive. They kind of get a little bit higher now. We're talking over $100, but I'll get one that's the proper size and stuff. And we'll just see what we get. But the NASA Fez brand is not really doing it. I guess until next time, we'll see you down the rabbit hole.